fun to have everybody out here today. Hello, Lieutenant Governor. How are you? Nice to see you. Wow, what a great day, and thank you. Thank you. I am absolutely thrilled to be back here at Tom Leonard's Farmers Market. Tom, thank you for having us. 9 months ago, we were right here. 9 months ago, we were right here with many of you. And we, in fact, were talking about the impact that rising cost of groceries were having on your families. And I remember working the cash register right over there with Sharon. And we talked to Virginians, and we understood from so many people that, in fact, when inflation carries away big chunks of your hard-earned paychecks, it makes it harder and harder to live, work, and raise a family in Virginia. So just a few days before the election, we gathered again. We gathered again right over there. And we had about 3,000 Virginians who came together electrified. Electrified about a movement, about your passion for a better Virginia. 3,000 Virginians who gathered on a somewhat cold October night to dismiss the politics of yesterday and embrace a better day together. That's what we did. Over 3,000 Virginians that night came together to spark a movement that spread across the Commonwealth of Virginia. A movement that started at kitchen tables. A movement that started with families that have problems and challenges that needed to be heard. A movement that allowed all of us to sit down and listen. We heard from business owners who were unable to manage through an environment of increased regulations and taxes. We heard from families who faced bills that were rising faster than their incomes at the gas pump and in the grocery aisle. We heard from students whose lives were turned upside down by the pandemic. We heard from parents who were told that they had no place in their child's education. And we heard from scared Virginians who saw their neighborhoods becoming more and more dangerous and deadly. Those historic Virginians stood up and came together to vote for profound change, electing a political outsider, trusting us. And for that, I will be forever grateful. Thank you for trusting us. You elected a historic ticket. Our Lieutenant Governor, Winsome Sears. Our Attorney General, Jason Miyares. A new majority in our House of Delegates. All committed to going to work on day one on a common sense, kitchen table focused agenda. And what a great honor it has been over these past 5 months to see everyone come together to bring alive that day one agenda. Even the political elite, they doubted that we could get this done. And you know what? When people doubt us, we go to work twice as hard. And so on that day one, we initiated executive directives. We launched new bills. We submitted budget amendments. We got Virginia open for business. We reestablished and redefined our commitment to freedom. And we went to work to reduce taxes, all on day one. And cut taxes we did. This budget we will sign today cuts taxes for the typical Virginia family by $1,100 in year one. Friends, in total, this budget cuts taxes for Virginians by $4 billion. 4 times any tax reduction ever voted for in Virginia. This is big. Especially at a time when Virginians need it more than ever. More than ever. It's not enough. We know that. It's not enough. This economy, this Joe Biden created economy, it requires us to do more because more is running away from hardworking Virginians. With inflation at a 40-year high, when Virginians have to stretch and oftentimes ration because they can no longer afford the things that they used to readily afford, we've taken the important steps to eliminate the state's portion of the grocery tax. To increase the standard deduction by 80%. To declare the largest tax rebate in the history of Virginia. Look, this will not overcome everything. And oh, by the way, it's not everything that I wanted. And so we're going to go back in January and get the rest. But it is a big step in the right direction. And we went to work for our veterans. We went to work for those people who stood up for our nation because we know that freedom is not free. And in Virginia now, when you're 55 years old, we are building to eliminate $40,000 of your retirement benefits from being taxed altogether. I want every military hero here and across the Commonwealth of Virginia to hear me right now. We honor you, we support you, and we want you to make your lives in Virginia. As I promised on the night that I was elected, we have passed and I will sign the largest education budget in the history of Virginia. Providing much needed raises to our teachers. Funding into school construction for facilities that are so needed. Funding into programs for Virginia's kids with disabilities. And funding $100 million into lab schools to provide choice within our public school system. Now, we all know that money has never been the solution, especially when it comes to public education. That's why in Virginia we are raising the bar of excellence in all of our schools. We're not looking back, we're looking forward. We are challenging the status quo. We can raise the ceiling and the floor and deliver excellence for all of Virginia's kids. Friends, most of all, we are reminding the country every single day, that parents matter. That's what we are doing. Whether it's explicit materials in the classroom, whether it's your child wears a mask or not, Parents in Virginia make those decisions, and they are being made right where they should be. It's been roughly 125 days since your First Lady and my lovely wife, Suzanne, stood on the steps of the Capitol and we signed that historic bipartisan piece of legislation that reaffirmed parents' rights to make decisions for their children, and particularly as to whether they wear a mask or not. That will go down as one of my favorite days. But we all know that when families sit around the kitchen table and they talk about the future and they worry about the future that their children will inherit, they worry about the rising cost of living, but they also worry about the safety in their neighborhoods. One of the most sobering responsibilities that I have as governor is waking up every morning and praying before I open up our daily morning reports on violence across the Commonwealth of Virginia. We've seen a dramatic increase in violent crime, a dramatic increase in murder rate. We're at a 20-year high. We have seen it here in Virginia, where bad policies by left liberals demeaned law enforcement. They, in fact, depleted their resources. In some cases, the people who were sworn to uphold the law, the parole board, were actively violating the law. And that's why on day one I was so proud to keep my promise that we, in fact, would fire the entire parole board. We reestablished and are reforming the parole board's role in the Commonwealth of Virginia to make sure that violent criminals stay where they belong. Friends, since we recognize this dangerous environment that we're in, we have been so fortunate to work together to pass this budget that includes $400 million to increase salaries for law enforcement. To increase salaries at a record level, to fund training and equipment, to fund community programs. Friends, together we can reestablish safety in our communities, and all know that in Virginia we back the blue. And let me be clear, one of our highest priorities is safety in our schools. And this budget that we will sign today includes an incremental $45 million to provide for school resource officers to keep our children safe in our schools. I want all Virginia parents to be confident that their child will come home just as safe as they were when they put them on the bus to go to school. This is our commitment. Tom Leonards knows this. We're working to make Virginia the best place to live, work, and raise a family. And more companies are looking to grow in Virginia now because of that commitment. Employers are looking to Virginia again because we're competing. We're competing, and oh, by the way, we are winning. Since we took office and started to send that very clear message around the world that the Commonwealth is open for business and we are back to work, nearly 80,000 Virginians have gone back to work in the Commonwealth of Virginia. 80,000 since January. Stunning. It's the commitment on behalf of so many to get Virginia moving. We've been recruiting companies from all over America and all over the world, companies like Boeing and Raytheon, to re-headquarter in Virginia. To leave high crime places like Chicago and high tax places like Massachusetts. And oh, by the way, places where they know that their employees can thrive and live a great life. And just last week, I had the immense pleasure of standing at our Science Museum and announcing that the Lego Group will build their only manufacturing headquarters right here in Chesterfield County. We are competing. We are competing, and we are winning. $1 billion, nearly 1,700 jobs, because we competed and we won. That's what Virginians can do. Every day we go to work. We go to work on behalf of all Virginians to make Virginians recognize that prosperity is there for the taking. We want to be a commonwealth of opportunity, and it's happening. And it is happening. We're getting it done together. Getting it done together. We've enacted historic tax cuts. Together, we made record investments in education and public safety. Together, we stood for greater accountability and transparency in government. And together, we are building a better Virginia, where Virginians can find jobs right here in the Commonwealth, not in North Carolina, not in Tennessee, not in South Carolina, not in Texas, but here in Virginia. Friends, we are getting it done together. So now, I am proud of the last 5 months, but we have substantial work to still do. So I will tell you, we are not stopping now. We are shifting from high gear into extra high gear. This is what's in front of us. I am disappointed. I'm disappointed in the fact that Virginians see every day runaway inflation at the gas pump. On average, about $4.90 a gallon today, $5 in many places. And there was a moment for our legislator, particularly our Democrat-led Senate, to recognize that it's time to put politics down. It's time to do what's right for the Commonwealth. It's time to do what's right for Virginians. It's time to recognize that we work for you. We had a moment. Virginians deserved a better answer from our Senate Democrats than no. They did. And so this will not be the last time any of us think about this. Every time a Virginian goes to the gas pump and sees $4.90 gas going into their car, they'll think of Senate Democrats. Every time a business has to cut back on its logistics workforce and therefore a customer waits longer for a delivery, they'll think back to the chance to lower the price on diesel, and they'll think that Senate Democrats didn't do it. Every time Virginians struggle to make ends meet, we had an opportunity 3 times. I sent a bill. 3 times they said no. This is a time for us to come together. This is a time for us to recognize that when we come together, we can do extraordinary things for Virginians, not for politics. Not for politics. This has always been about a movement that you all created, A movement that was not Republicans against Democrats. It was about Virginians standing up for all that we know is right. Low taxes, better jobs, better schools, safe communities, our constitutional rights, a government that works for you and stops telling you what to do. This is about the values that we hold dear. That's why you sent us to Richmond. That's why we have seen the marble halls of Richmond emptied and the great fields of Virginia, the shores of Hampton Roads, the mountains of Shenandoah, the coal fields of Southwest Virginia, the bustling streets of Northern Virginia, filled with the people we work for, the people we represent, the people that today, as we sign this budget, we together are getting it done. Thank you. So today we sign a budget. Today we deliver on promises made. Today we can all envision a better Virginia, a Virginia that goes to work together to create opportunity for all Virginians, not for a few. A Virginia that lifts up all of our children and clears a pathway for their dreams. That is a hallmark of high expectations. That is a hallmark of parents' engagement and empowerment. That is a hallmark of what we know Virginia must be and will be, the best place to live and work and raise a family. And ladies and gentlemen, let's go to work and sign a budget. God bless you all. Let's go sign this. Let's go sign this thing. Hello, team. How's everybody? Yeah. Thank you. Let's do it one more time.
Good. You got it.
Awesome.
Huh?
Thank you. So today, we are here to sign a budget. And as I said, this budget includes $4 billion of tax cuts. This budget includes funding for the largest education budget in the history of Virginia. This budget includes $400 million to invest in law enforcement. This budget includes record investments in behavioral and mental health. This budget includes investments in economic development so that we can bring the next Raytheon, the next Boeing, the next Lego here to Virginia. This budget delivers on all the things that we know we must do. And yet there's still more work to do. And so while we will celebrate today the signing of this budget, we will go to work this afternoon to deliver all of the things that Virginians know we need in order to be just that, the best place to live and work and raise a family. But right now, we're going to sign this budget. Man. Winsome, did you know how many pages were in this thing?
Congratulations.
Thank you all very, very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to go to work. Get ready for day 2.